Here's my question to people all the time, and it stuns them. I go, how often does your passion show up in a group setting every week? How often does your passion show up in a group setting every week? Well, if it's not, that explains why the bonds of the groups that you're around aren't that deep yet. You have to both inject your passion into conversations so people actually know what you think about, what you're interested in, what you're deeply thoughtful about. Like all of your friends, and I want you to write this down, all of my friends should know my passions. All of them. Otherwise, they're strangers. All your friends. I'm a person, like, if you know me, you're gonna know my passions real fast. And people say, yeah, but I can't tell my family this, they think that, or I can't tell her that, they think that. I'm like, what are we in high school? Are you really holding back your passions based on what someone else will think? That's okay in high school. Once you hit 18, that's no longer allowed. Now that's just called sabotaging yourself for no reason whatsoever other than your internal fears of embarrassment, which, by the way, shouldn't last that long after 18 years old. Not when you're doing the personal development work. Like, get over that. It's okay. Everyone should know. And if they have judgment to it, guess what? They also judged your clothes today. They also judged your hair today. They judged your website. Who cares? Why is everyone so scared about judgment? The less you are worried about judgment, the greater friends you have. When you realize because you know what? I want people to reject me. Because if I'm not in their tribe or I'm not their guy, great. I don't have to go spend a bunch of time trying to build a relationship with somebody who's like that. So don't fear the judgment. And don't keep pressing down, suppressing, or quieting your passions to try to fit in, to try to be liked. Share what you love. Share your passions. And if you're someone who's like, but I don't have any passions, or I don't have any friends, it's like, okay, well, your job is to go have adventures in the world and put yourself in new, novel situations to discern what you like. I'm sure many of you guys, you get the questions too from, younger kids in their, teens or in their 20s who ask you, but I don't know what my passions are. And what do you always say? Go do stuff. Like passions and interests emerge out of actions, not contemplations. So you don't just sit around and contemplate, what am I passionate about, and come up with something. You need to experience the menu of the world a little bit and go, oh, I like this. Just like I never knew I liked sushi. I never sat in a room one day in Montana and go, I like sushi. No, I had to go experience culinary from all over the place. And I went to a sushi place. I'm like, I'm a guy that likes sushi. And now if you hang out with me, I'm like, let's go. I'm passionate about sushi. I never thought in a room I'd be passionate about sushi one day. I had it and became passionate about it. You find your passions by living an active life. When you don't have passions, we just got to get more menu in front of you. This is why you always growing your network and your relationships to discern. Like a lot of people hope their purpose just lands on them. I'm like, your purpose is found out in the world. Your purpose is found by living and choosing how you want to live and living a purposeful life, and more purpose shows up. If you want deep relationships with people, you're going to have to uncover your passions. You're going to have to express those passions. And you're going to have to elicit their passions. Does anyone have a friend who talks on and on and on about something that you aren't passionate about at all? Anyone out there? Encourage them. Keep listening. Don't we all need friends like that? It's important. It's important for you to elicit other people's passions, and it's okay if there isn't. I have one friend that is so passionate, insane, like otherworldly passionate about video games. Now, I haven't played a video game in, I don't even know how to use the controllers. Anyone else have that? You ever go to your friend's house and their kids pop out the video game, they hand it to you, and you get this controller, and it's like a spaceship, and you don't even know what it does? That's me. I don't know how to play a video game. I'm not interested in video games at all. Like I'm not even interested in it. And I have this friend. We will go out and he will tell me about video games for like 90 minutes. And I'm so interested because that's his passion. When someone's talking passion, you know what you say? Tell me more. It doesn't have to be your passion. Stop listening for what you want to be and experience and who you are, and honor and see the other. Their passions, their ideas, their goals, their concerns. That's how to win friends and influence people. You knew I was coming after the Dale Carnegie, didn't you? You knew I was gonna drop it in there. I know you knew. I was gonna give me some Dale Carnegie up in here. How to win friends and influence people. Let me summarize the whole book. Be interested in other people. It's like a 300-page book. 5 words describe it. Be interested in other people. That's how you win friends and influence people. Stop listening through the lens of only your interests and your passions and open up to hearing and encouraging and listening. If you talk to me, if you and I go out, I'm like this. I'm just taking it in. Like, keep bringing it, keep bringing it. Just shovel it all my way. Keep bringing it. And you're like, yeah, but Brendon, people shovel their stuff on me. I'm like, nope. The bad stuff goes right over here. The good stuff goes right in here. It's like, just keep bringing it. Like if you want to be a great friend, you elicit their passions. And I don't think people talk about their passions enough. And obviously I'm a personal development guy, so I have a high opinion about this. Oh my goodness. I think it's so important to be passionate. And to be passionate, you have to experience the world. To elicit other people's passion, you have to talk about what they've experienced in the world. Learn their stories. Listen to what interests them. You have to pull in the conversation, their passion, their interests, their ideas. I know I'm being repetitive here a little bit, but I think we really need a reset on this one. A real reset. Because if you think about your favorite friends to be around at the parties, they're passionate. It doesn't mean they're extroverted. It doesn't mean they're extemporaneous speakers. It just means whatever's going on with them. I have a friend who I can't even believe this guy. He's a friend and a mentor. He's like 58 years old. Every time he talks, he just looks at his shoes. And he's not loud. He's not clownish like me. He's just super internal and thoughtful, but everything he's so passionate about what he's saying. He just likes that. He's just passionate. He barely moves. He's just passionate. You just hear it. His voice isn't bad. He talks like this. Well, this is so important, and you're like, I wanted to pep up a little bit, but he doesn't need to. His passion is there, and I connect with him on that. You all follow? Passion. How do you level up so you feel your best? That to me is the quintessential metaphor and demand of ourselves to be extraordinary. Right? Because if you just go through the motions or you do what you're comfortable with, the excellence demands a little bit of edge. Excellence demands you push beyond what's easy or what's your natural strength or what you just could do and get away with and says, no, what's that next level for me? That's real excellence over the long term. And I wanted to start with that expectation right off the bat. Like, you need to have that thinking coming in today. Plus you need to be doing the self-analysis, because today, as usual, I'll challenge you, I'll cajole you, I'll tease you, I'll share my own struggles and challenges along the way, because it is not easy leading a worldwide community of high performers. The other day I was in an airport and someone came up to me and said, Brendon, you look rough. And I was like, well, thank you very much. And I said, well, I just finished a 4-day seminar. He says, oh, okay, well, you do those all the time. I said, yeah, but I finished a 4-day seminar. I went and opened 2 new businesses, flew to another 4-day seminar, and all these were across the country. And I was delivering the seminar mostly by myself. And people were like, how are you doing that? A huge piece of it comes from the mentality we're going to talk about today. The simple things that you can do to make sure you are setting yourself up for excellence, not exhaustion, for excellence, not mediocre, for excellence, something you can have pride about, something you can feel good about inside. I know many of you are perfectionists, and that's not the conversation today. Excellence is not the same as perfectionists, right? I think
Anyone who really believes themselves to be a perfectionist tends to be really hurting themselves. They are hurting themselves because that mentality that it has to be perfect, while they take a lot of pride in it, it actually ends up compromising their health and their relationships. Where excellence, I'd rather you say, I'm a person of excellence than I'm a perfectionist. Because usually those who are perfectionists, they have to ultimately compromise. They have to compromise their health, they have to compromise their relationships, they have to compromise their timelines, because most perfectionists are operating off of fear. They're offering based on, well, if I do that and it's not perfect, there's rejection, there's ruin, there's regret. Where excellence is getting stuff done. There's a momentum to excellence that is lacking in perfectionists, right? A perfectionist might get something done, but they get one thing done each year, and a person of excellence gets 6 things done, and as equal progress and equal breakthroughs. So I know some of you are like, this is me, I'm a perfectionist. I'm like, no, actually, I think it might be really important that you listen and tune in today, because we might be able to add some value that helps you reimagine who you are and what you are capable of. Because listen, if you don't have the momentum in your life you want right now, your mindset and your behaviors might be preventing you from delivering your best. If you don't sense a real momentum, like there's some kind of movement at base, there's something going on. You feel like that tremor of excitement inside because something big is coming up. It's because maybe you've been fighting and reacting and you've been in the trenches, but excellence kind of requires you to look above the trenches and have some vision once in a while. The first value of excellence is this: you have to play the long game. You have to play the long game. Now, I know it's like, yeah, I know that. But listen, if you don't have the momentum you want in your life right now, you haven't been playing the long game. If you've been too stressed or too burned out, or you've overcommitted yourself, you're not playing the long game. If your health sucks, not playing the long game. If you're wrecking relationships, not playing the long game. If you don't have a vibrant, amazing community of peers around you supporting your dream, cheering you on, not playing the long game. Because playing the long game does not just take what shows up, it architects the future. Oh, write it down. Playing the long game doesn't take what just shows up, it's architecting the future. And I think a lot of people live mediocre versus excellent lives because they weren't playing the long game. They weren't thinking like, okay, 3 years out, how do I scale? 3 years out, how do I stand out? 3 years out, how do I have success unparalleled in this industry? Because you know, and I both know, many of you are here because you're in transition and something new is coming along and you're trying something new. You got a new hobby, a new way to make money, a new way to serve. And sometimes in that transition, you go into survival mode. Survival mode is not the same as the excellence mentality, is it? Right? Survival mode is, let me take what's here, let me do the bare minimum to survive, versus think strategically and play the long game. Now, I said a few things that I think are really important. Like, let's take that big old thing called burnout. Most people, when they've become burned out, it didn't happen immediately. It happened bit by bit by bit. I talked with my coaches this morning about that. It's like when someone's in burnout, don't think it was one big project that tipped them over the edge. It was little decisions, bit by bit by bit by bit by bit, where they gave away their time, they gave away their freedom, they overcommitted, they didn't say yes, they didn't say no, they didn't sort of like lay out the turf, they didn't set their boundaries, and over a period of time, they burned out. The problem, which I think you all know, is that if you're a high performer, you can survive on burnout for a long time. A lot of burnouts, you know, they're operating at a high level of efficiency. I mean, they're burned out, but they can go 6-7 months at that. And they don't take the time to step back and recharge throughout the day, not once in a while on a vacation, throughout the day. They're not using transitions to recharge like we talk about in the book. They're not using those moments to like, reset, recharge, go at it again. And they don't do that because they believe they're invincible. They can't see all these decisions adding up to exhaustion, adding up to burnout, adding up to running out. Like always looking out a few months is part of excellence, isn't it? Otherwise, you can deliver excellence once and then you crash and burn. And many of you know this. Your success has been up and down. And really, if you look at the peaks and the valleys weren't successes. The peaks and the valleys were crashes. And that's how you know a person of excellence. Did they have this rhythm, this scale, this, even if there were some like lower points, were those rhythms of excellence? Or was it boom, launch that thing, crash. Boom, do that thing, great, crash. And it was just up, down, and it was just crash, 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 crash. A lot of people, I can look over the last 10 years, I'm like, your last 10 years wasn't defined by momentum or excellence. Your last 10 years was defined by like survival. It was defined by like luck. It was defined by crashes and burns and oh my God, you must be so tired. And you're like, yes, Brendon, I am. And that's why this is an important conversation today. If you know you're a person of excellence, and if it's true, I would not see a rhythm of crashing and burning. I would not see a rhythm of burns and busts, burning out, failures, and exhaustion. And it's really hard because I know, trust me, like there's so many nights I'm like, oh my God, if I just stay awake for 4 more hours, I can get these projects done. And you know what? And then I'm a complete idiot 72 hours later. I know it will catch up with me. Those who play the long game don't compromise in the short game because they know it catches up later. And that catch up is a devil. It is a bear. It is a beast. It knocks you down. And what happens is compromise 3 hours here. But then because that compromise 3 hours here, you're knocked off your feet 3 days over here. So if you'd taken the 3 hours to recharge, you wouldn't be worthless for 3 days in the middle of the week, right? I want you to have steady rhythm. That's what we call high performance, that ability to have long-term success while maintaining your well-being and your health, my friends. You so deserve that.
How are we going to set our emotional tone in this chaos? How are we going to find our strength, our center, and project goodness and compassion at a time when it is desperately needed? How are we going to hold the line in our businesses so that we don't overreact and going one direction when we ought to be in another? How do we manage all of this today is my joy to talk with you about. Number one is the decision that I will always be the one to remain centered amid the chaos. And I have worked on myself and I have taught myself that for pretty much 25 years. I've worked on that at a very steady pace. When everyone's freaking out, I take a bunch of deep breaths. I connect with my breath. I make sure that I'm keeping perspective. But ultimately that decision I will be centered amid this means for me that I will choose the emotional tone and my attitude as I am dealing with uncertainty or chaos. I remember years ago, I was doing an event and a person in the back of the room had a seizure. And literally they fell out of their chair and on the ground they started having a full physical reaction to the seizure as well, where they were shaking and it was terrifying for the people around them. And I was kind of at the beginning of my career. And I saw it happen. It was almost in slow motion. And could you imagine you're on your stage? I mean, put yourself there. You're in front of, hundreds or thousands of people. And all of a sudden somebody is, falling over and having a full seizure in front of the whole audience. The whole audience literally starts looking back. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. People are standing up. Oh my God, oh my God. Total panic sets in the room. And I remember standing up there and I have this on video where at first, my first reaction is like this, kind of like shock, just like everybody else, like, whoa. And then I kind of look over and instantaneously in my mind, I go, Brendon, you have to be in charge here. I didn't want to be in charge. I had to be in charge. And my mind immediately said, 2 choices here. Join the panic or stay stable and strong and present and connected with what's really happening. And so that decision, I'm going to say centered amid this, made me immediately also decide I need to center the audience. So I asked the entire audience, I just announced, I said, everyone sit down. And everyone just kind of looked, I said, sit down. And everybody, they sit down. And I said, please sit down because your panic and your chaos right now is not serving the energy of this person who needs healing. Sit down, be quiet. Everyone, please close your eyes so my team can address this situation. Please close your eyes and let's put some positive energy and prayer in the room for this person who needs our attention right now. They don't need negativity and fear in the room. Let's put some love and prayer. Let's send some energy. So please close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and remember, you can choose to contribute good energy to the situation. And so I had everyone close their eyes, take a few deep breaths, and meditate or send prayer back to this person as my team was clearing that row and getting to this person so that when the paramedics would arrive, that person could be removed. Now, here's the deal. I knew I had like 20 minutes at least before we could get a paramedic probably at that spot in the seminar. And I thought, how am I going to buy 20 minutes? People are going to start freaking out. And I realized, no, if I set the emotional tenor in this room on purpose, and if I ask of others to find the best within themselves, if I ask of others to take a breath, if I ask of others to be responsible for the energy they are projecting into this space, if I ask of that, and if I demonstrate that, we'll make it through this moment. And that might not seem like a big deal, but I really believe the energy in that room either was serving this man as he was having a seizure or was making it worse. Imagine here he is having this unbelievable, stressful, life-threatening situation, and if all around him everybody is screaming in chaos, the body feels that, The body and the mind feels the energy of what is around it. And so if that is true, let us all be responsible for the energy we are projecting right now. I've seen friends hop online and something's happening, and what are they doing? They're contributing to the chaos. They're posting snarky comments. There's sarcasm, blame, vitriol, anger. And I'm not here to say that we can't use our social mediums to contribute to an argument or to make a case, but every word has a tone to it. And the tone that we are setting in reply to chaos either furthers the chaos or it levels it. And the more of us who choose to be even, tempered, thoughtful, caring, compassionate, the values that we would all hope to have as a global citizenry, the more that we will judiciously take action in a thoughtful way. That's the hope. And whether you believe that or not, I hope that you'll hear this first practice. Your family needs to see you centered, calm, strong, and assured in chaos. Otherwise, we are passing down panic to another generation. It's sad, in my view, that we have a world that is so connected, so potentially capable, so well informed, and yet we still have people who overreact. Now, I'm not saying that overreaction isn't something you would anticipate, but there's a difference between overreaction as in taking action to overprotect, like doing something useful to shore up things, versus an emotional overreaction of fear. You can deal with really difficult situations without the negative range of blame, vitriol, hate, and anger. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm just here today to touch base with you. You can set that emotional tenor. Let's all do a better job at that. Let me give you a couple examples of how I'm doing it right now. To stay centered amid chaos, you also have to stay a little distanced from chaos, even as it is happening. I'll give you an example of how I'm doing it. And many of you guys know I have 4 major companies that I'm either the principal in or one of the principal investors in. And for me, like lots of different teams around the world, and obviously you've seen here, we have a global community. Well, for me, because I'm constantly being hit up on this phone by people from literally around the world, and people count on me to advise their companies. So what do? I don't engage the chaos all day. Instead, I work my plan. And many of you already know how I do that with my morning routines. My morning routine doesn't change. Still stays steady. Wake up, center my mind, plan my day, open up my body. But I also do simple things right now. Right now, listen, I'm not checking in my phone every 10 minutes because guess what you want to do in chaos? Refresh. But every time you hit refresh and every time you scroll, don't forget it takes emotional and mental energy. And if refresh, chaos, bad news, oh my God. Just think about that for a minute. You're hitting the oh my God button all day when you're refreshing in chaotic news times. And that is creating the panic and the stress inside that is freaking you out. So as an example of simple things that I do, I only check in on the news twice a day. I would say news at noon, right? I'm gonna get through my morning. I'm gonna make the magic happen. I'm gonna move my projects forward in the mornings. If it's news that I need to know about that affects me dramatically and locally, trust me, I'll hear about it. My friends or my wife or somebody will let me know via text. But I don't check in on the news because nothing's gonna change for me in dealing with the news until around noon. And I know people say, well, what if this is canceled or that's canceled? You'll hear it from your family. You'll get the news, but I don't check into the major media. I don't check into social media multiple times a day. I don't check into, and I'm talking about what people are doing right now. They're hitting refresh by the minute, by the 5 minutes, by the 10. How many of you are guilty about this? How many of you have been addicted to refreshing in the last 72 hours, right? It's easy to do that when there's chaos, but that's also the most important time not to do that for your own psyche, right? That's the most important time to separate yourself from chaos versus, what do? Reconnect to it every 30 seconds? Think about what that does. You cannot, doesn't matter how conscious or intelligent or brilliant or meditative you are, if you check into, oh my God, bad news 24/7, there is no human that does not start to shape your emotional reality. No human alive. The Dalai Lama couldn't do it without feeling that emotion if that's what he did 24/7. And right now, that's what we have people doing. And so what is necessary is to stay absolutely informed, but realize not a whole lot is going to shift in periods of time throughout the day. Now, I know it depends on what you do and how you respond in your career and where your family is and all these things. No question. So here's what I'm going to suggest to you. To stay centered in the mid of the chaos, you choose how much you check in. You choose. And then at a conscious level, I'd say, back it up a little bit. So however, you're like, I gotta check 20 times this hour, but I'm like, okay, I appreciate that feeling and that concern. So let's just back. Could we check in just 5 times in the hour so you can actually get something done? So please don't think I'm saying don't be involved or don't be informed. I'm saying don't let the chaos eat you alive, because listen to this statement. Chaos inside grows as checking in on the outside grows, right? The more everyone's freaking out and the more you listen to all of it, the more it infects you, because there is also another contagion going on right now. And if you've studied neuroscience with me for a while, or you've been with me in this community for a while, you know how much we talk about emotional contagion. Energy spreads. It's like, listen, we can act without losing our center. We can act without spreading fear. We can act without the anxiety. Like the stuff that I have to take on a daily basis, if you saw it, you'd be like, oh my gosh. But I choose not to address it with anxiety. I choose to be in center of my emotional reality, the chooser, the captain of the ship.
And I just want you to be that observer of how you've been dealing with this and choose to stay centered amid the chaos. I do things like keep your morning routine. It is so important right now. That is stability in an unstable world. Don't overly engage what is happening. Don't contribute to the negative energy in any way, even if you want to. Trust me, when I do check in, I want to say, you idiots, oh my gosh, what's happening over here? Don't be that person. It's not going to help your spirit or your soul, I promise you. Be the person who's centered amid the chaos. The utmost, most important area of emotional mastery is mastering motivation. Now, when I say emotional mastery, you're like, wait, isn't motivation just a topic, an area? I'm like, no, motivation is an emotion, right? A motivation is a emotion that you feel a drive, a sense of hunger, a sense of want, and a sense of desire to make something happen. I believe motivation is one of the most important things we have to master in our total emotional sort of toolkit, right? Because if you can emotionally feel motivated every day, almost everything else can fall in line, right? If you're emotionally motivated to be a better mom, be a better caregiver, be a better parent, be a better lover, be a better entrepreneur, be a better business person, be a better contributor to the greater world, when there's a motivation pulling you forward, out of bed each day, into the office, into real life to be your best, then everything changes. When you lose motivation, you and I both know the loss of motivation is the first gate to suffering. You lose motivation. Now you don't feel like doing anything. You don't feel like doing anything, you don't work out. You don't feel like working out, you don't feel like doing anything. You don't feel like doing anything, you don't want to do your goals. Don't feel like doing your goals, feel unfulfilled. Feel unfulfilled, feel unsatisfied. Feel unsatisfied, feel like life is meaningless. It is a slippery slope when you lose motivation. But the issue is no one has motivation 24/7 all the time. Motivation is an emotion you learn to cultivate by using your mind, your body, your greater consciousness to ensure that you feel that pull of purpose, that you feel that energy inside that says, I want to create, I want to contribute, I want to be my best self, I want to connect with people. And so motivation is something we're going to have to generate on a consistent basis. I know many of you are at HPA and you hear me say, all the time, you have to learn to bring the joy, because the power plant doesn't have energy, it generates energy. Motivation is something the motivation guy, I have the best-selling book of the entire century with motivation in the title. It's called The Motivation Manifesto, if you haven't read it. And the Motivation Manifesto is like, if anything is imbued in that book, it is like this ferocity and this fierceness and this attention to living our best lives, but it has to be like generated. Because even though I'm the motivation guy, there's plenty of days I wake up and I'm like, blah. I don't feel like it. There's plenty of days, there's plenty of moments where just like you, I'm just like, I'd rather be lazy and do nothing right now. And that's okay. That's part of homeostasis. That's part of our human body to want to power down, to relax, to chill out. But too much of that can lead to an unfulfilling life. So we must learn to generate the emotions of drive, desire, go-gettedness, whatever you want to call motivation. And so it's something that we have to learn to stoke. Motivation is an emotion we feel by either luck or by purposeful, conscious design. I just choose to design it into my day every single day. For those who were with us at HPA, here's a little quick idea for you, a little quick reminder that motivation is driven by certain things. You have a spark, you have something that sustains it, and you have something that grows it. Okay? The spark of motivation, which is how I anchor into being motivated each day, is ambition. All motivation begins with the desire or hunger and ambition for more, whether that's more depth or more connection or more contribution or more abundance or more wealth or more love. Like we just want more of something. And that says, I want to go get that. Like we see a fancier car, it's better than our car, I want to go get that. We see like a deeper love of relationship between two people, I say, I want that in my own life. Sometimes it's a visual cue. Something we see makes us want something, right? Not too far from here, there's a beach that I strolled on vacation, I don't know, a couple years ago. And I said, I want to live here. And it was a motivation. It was a cue. I saw something, desired it, wanted it, went after it. Like, so sometimes it's a visual, it's a cue out in the world that says, I want more of that thing. And ambition can be visually cued. For some people, if you just wake up, I mean, think about it. You wake up, you grab your phone, you're like, you know, and all of a sudden you don't have any motivation. Instead, you look through all this stuff and all it did is make you feel like you're not enough, or it distracted you, or it upset you, or it created, anger or anxiousness. You got to be careful how you're using cues to start your day. I use cues to start my day motivated. And those cues to start my day motivated are things like I literally wake up and I'll wake up and I'll think of things that I'm grateful for and that I want to give in life. I'll wake up and I'll think about someone I want to do something nice for or surprise today. I'll think of something I can be excited about today. I'll, as soon as possible in the morning, revisit my ambitions list, my goals list. I'll look at them. I'll not wander through the day looking at social media and then, I guess it's time to work and look at my goals. It's like my goals, in the first few minutes of the day, I'm revisiting them. And what I'm doing is when I'm looking at my goals or my agenda or my schedule, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, why do I want this? What would life be like this? How could I go get it? What should I do today to make that happen? And that motivates me. That's my list of goals, my list of ambitions, the things that can excite me. In other words, it's very intrinsic goals. It's intrinsic rewards that I'm after. I'm like, if I go do that, I will feel better. If I could have this, I'd be happier, right? It's not that I can't be happy with now, but I want to pull. Like if I can have that future pull, that's going to motivate me to go do stuff, right? I have to literally generate that in my mind. And so when I have that connection in the morning, then my takeaway for you is connect with your ambitions every morning, very first thing in the morning. Somehow part of your morning routine, connect with your ambitions. Look at them. Why do you want them? What would you get from that? How would you feel from that? What would that generate? Why would life be more meaningful? Really connect with that ambition every single morning and you'll start to notice you feel better. Because remember, if you were at HPA, if you've ever attended our event or our seminar, you also know this reality, that motivation wanes with attention. Meaning, if we don't give our ambitions, our goals, a lot of attention, the motivation just goes away. Because motivation is either fueled by our attention or by momentum, right? It either takes reflection or action to generate serious, sustained motivation. Either reflection or action. Because ultimately, from the reflection, that gives us clarity, and clarity can give us confidence. Or action can give us momentum. And when we have momentum, motivation is way easier to cultivate, generate, and sustain, obviously. So these are really important concepts. Every morning, get very close to your goals. Ambitiously. What are those things that you want, desire, need, and would enjoy, and what do you need to go to get it? That's the intrinsic type of things, the things we'll feel good about, that drive satisfaction, fulfillment, meaning, excitement in us. But I also have my extrinsic, meaning my external cues or goals or rewards that also I revisit. So for me, example, when I always tell you, wake up each day and at some point say, who needs me on my A game? For me, every morning, I re-anchor down into my relationships. I think about, okay, if I don't show up today and do a good job, then my wife and I have a lower quality of life. Then I can't support my mom. Then I can't support my team. Then all these people who count on me every day for motivation or count on me for leadership or count on me for support, they don't get that from me. And I tap into that reality that if I don't show up for somebody today, then you know what? By the end of the night, I'll feel worse about myself, but also it will impact other people. Because you cannot have real, high-powered mental motivation without a connection to other people. We are social animals, so we have to think about, okay, what should I do? How can I contribute in a way that serves other people? So where that internal one is about self and satisfaction and fulfillment and meaning personally, that's tapping into our own passions, desires, wants, and hungers. That external one is ultimately about service, about giving or taking care of or being the caretaker of other people. And you cannot just keep starting your day. I guess I'll get some coffee and read the news and see what's on social media, or hop into the car and listen to trash talk radio or turn on the TV and hope to find motivation later in the day. Like, you want to kick off the day with motivation. Like, get already in the morning, immediately in a good state of mind. When I'm in a great state of mind, it's like, bam, the day goes. And you know what? If you start the morning in the right frame of mind, motivated, driven, because you're connected to what drives you and what will serve other people, then when you start like running out of gas at noon, 1, 2, or 3, it's easier to like re-spark that flame than to fuel that flame than to start a new fire, right? Because some people just keep waiting. They don't even think about, I guess I should be motivated, until they've lost it. I want you to start the morning with it and sustain it throughout the day by revisiting it. Remember, the secret to all of motivation is revisiting those whys. It's revisiting that ambition that you have for your life, for more, for others, for contribution. That's everything, right? That's everything. And if you get away from that too many days, too many weeks, too many months, I'm just here to tell you, you're really going to struggle. So I hope that helps. Every morning, everybody, every single morning, I really want you to connect with that. Okay, what am I motivated? What am I driven by? And that's going to really, I can't explain how much that's going to help you. You will feel it and you will know it if you will do it every morning. Okay? Motivation starts in the morning, but it's also sustained by that morning frame of mind. So that's really key. That's the first idea behind motivation. Connect with your ambitions first thing every single day. Give attention to that every single day. Here's something I don't often talk about, but it's important for me because it's very easy for me to be really effective in the mornings, and then that afternoon, 2, 3 o'clock, and I can just be like, man, I want to go outside, take a walk, come back, turn on some Netflix, eat some carbs. You know, that can be my afternoon if I'm not careful. So here's what I do. I have a checkpoint in the mid-afternoon to recognize, reward, appreciate anything that I have done today. Anything that I have done today. And that midpoint checkpoint, for me on my phone, I just have an alarm. Mine tends to go off around 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It just flashes to me and it says, what's been great today? What's been great today? And so that will cue me, all right, it's time to visit. What's been great today? So I'll just think about something I've done. It could be like, I answered 10 emails today that I've been avoiding. Good job. It could be as simple as, I made that one call, I said I was going to call, did it. I shot that content, created that thing, whatever. Some type of, like, listen, motivation is often driven by recognition. So recognize what you have done so far in the day, early afternoon. Then what I do, in order to keep myself motivated even more, because I've set in my mind that I want to be a person who's excellence driven, what I will do is I say, okay, here's what's great so far, and then I ask just a simple question. How do I complete this day with excellence? Just a simple touch point in the afternoon. How do I complete this day with excellence? So I will look at the rest of the day, whether that's 2 hours more, 4 hours more, 5 hours more, 6 hours more, whatever it's going to be for me. And I go, okay, how do I think through the rest of this day with real excellence? And when I can connect with that, I'm telling you, it's just so part of me, and it really makes me want to serve. So please think about having a mid-afternoon connection point to keep yourself motivated. You'll feel a whole different quality of life come in. I promise it's a different experience for people, because most people, they're just running and gunning through the day. They don't realize or understand or accept how challenging it is to lose motivation. And so many people, they've gone weeks without being motivated. They're going through the motions, but there's no energy. There's no emotional pull towards something better. And because they're lacking that emotional pull, what ends up happening? They dog it. They don't contribute as much. They react and sort of create, and all of a sudden a couple of weeks later, they're like, I don't know why I'm so unfulfilled. Well, no duh, you're so unfulfilled because you haven't been tapping into that emotion of motivation. When we lack motivation, it is a slippery slope to suffering. So please recognize that you must cultivate more motivation. What else can you do? Well, I'll tell you, it's like ambition, attention to those ambitions, effort towards those things. I think all of that is really, really, really clear. But I also really believe that a lot of motivation is simply lost because of fatigue. So let's say you're doing all those things, but you're wiped out. You're tired. Like, a lot of motivation really rests on how you feel physically. If you feel lethargic, you feel tired, you have the flu, it's harder to be more motivated. You can still do it by doing what I've talked about. Re-cue yourself, reconnect with those things. But health-wise, it's really critical for you to say, okay, if I want to be motivated long-term, I need to feel greater levels of mobility and energy in my body. So if you ever hung out around me, I'm constantly bouncing and moving and breathing. And if you've been with me at HPA, you see some of these practices, this breath work that I do, that I'm activating and opening up my body so that my body says, let's go, versus, right? So my body's not like, oh, I ate this terrible thing. Instead, my body says, I feel refueled. I feel ready to go. Let's go. So I manage my sleep, my diet, my health in ways that support my mental clarity and energy. And I know that sounds, sometimes people think motivation is just a mental game. I'm like, yes, but your mind and your body are connected. If your body is lethargic, so is your mind, right? That brain-body connection is real, y'all. And I know you know that. You've been sick, you've been tired, there's other times when you've been out of shape, you feel terrible. So I'm here to encourage you, as I always do. If every single month in high performance, I have to cheer you on to get in better health, to prioritize your health, to sleep good, to eat well, to move. If I have to do that every single month, I will do that. I will be your champion. I will cheer you on. I want you in excellent health this year. So please hear me cheer that on every single month, because I just know I get you in better health. I get you in better mental health. We get you in better mental health, it's easier to sustain that fire and that drive, that purpose, that motivation. That thing will bring you satisfaction, joy, and meaning. I know you guys get this, but I want to fire you up today. Like, this is something you must fire up on your own. This will be fleeting. Of course it's fleeting if you never look at it. I tell people all the time, no wonder you're not motivated. You haven't thought about what motivates you in 3 days. Just think about that. No wonder you're not motivated. You haven't thought about what motivates you in 3 days. Every morning, I'm a deep dive in what's going to motivate me. I get excited about it. I look at it, I'm like, okay, let's go. If I didn't do that, I need coffee.
We all hope to have happiness, to have kindness, compassion, love, energy. And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, a power plant doesn't have energy, it generates energy. See, what a power plant does is it takes energy from one source, rushing water, spinning turbines, windmill, nuclear, whatever it is. It takes energy from one source, and what it basically does, it takes it from that source and transforms it into a higher source and then transmits it. That's what a power plant is doing. It is transforming and generating a new, higher level of energy. So for those who go, oh, my partner is such a jerk. My team at work, oh, they're so negative. They're so awful. I am here to tell you, guess what? Okay, so your job is take that low level of energy and convert it into a higher level of energy. Who's an entrepreneur in this room here? You ever heard that definition of entrepreneurs? They take one level of value and they 1+ it into a higher level of value, and that's why they get paid so much.
It's about taking value and amplifying. Well, energy is that way too. But what we do is we blame energy. My energy is this way because, listen, if you saw my schedule the last 6 months, you would cry for me, Argentina. You'd be like, how is he still standing and running around here like a little Energizer bunny? How is he doing that? Because everything over the last couple months, you'd be like, oh, that's not possible. It's because I don't hope to have energy. I generate energy. We can all generate energy on command. You did it this morning. Remember when I had you stand up and I just had you speed up your mind? Who liked that this morning? You got to use your mind for energy way more often, but you can use your body too. Watch, put your stuff down, stand up. Let's try something. Who's game to try something up in HPX? Let's try something together. Put your stuff down. Because by my watch, it says the chicken just hit your stomach. So as you're standing, all I want you to do, bounce in place. Close your eyes, swing your arms, take 10 deep breaths. We're gonna do 2 activities now. Take 10 deep breaths. A deep breath means your neighbor can hear you. You breathe in through your nose, your stomach comes out, you breathe out through your mouth, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, bounce in place, swing those arms. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Good. Deep breath in, deep breath out. You're doing good. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay, good. Now, we're just getting warmed up. Now, here's what I want you to do. We're gonna do an activity called Qigong. Very simple. We're gonna open up the meridians of your body. If you don't believe in Eastern arts like meridians of your body, then in science, there's things called nerve cells. And they're on your skin. And when you activate them, you feel differently. And when you move your body or your skin around, you move the lymph, which also gets things generating. And if you move your body, you also activate your lung system. So hey, guess what? Call it meridians or call it science. Here we go. What we're gonna do is take a nice deep breath in, a nice deep breath out. Now, for those who have never done this before, this is gonna be super weird. So if you thought it was gonna get weird, this is the part. You take your hands like this. In Qigong, it's called cupping, because you're cupping, cup out your hands. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start at our lower left ankle, and we're basically gonna pat, called cupping, and we're gonna move up our leg like half an inch at a time. And then we're gonna do our right leg, then we're gonna do our hands, then our sides, and then our back. So for those who don't do it yet, watch what it looks like when you do your left leg. You just come to your ankle, and all you're doing is just cupping, patting, and you're moving up the top of your leg. That's all you're doing. Go around, pat your ass, because you've done a good job so far. Nice work. Set it down, breathe in. Then we'll do the next leg. Then we'll do the arms. Then we'll do the sides. And then we'll do the back. If this sounds crazy, wait till you see how you feel. HPX, are you ready? Yeah. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Left leg starting at the ankle. Let's see how you do. Cup your hands, and the idea, put positive intention and energy into your body. This is an act of love. Coming up around. Now you're patting your buttock. Your buttocks, sir. Okay, good, good. Set it down, breathe. Feel better already? We haven't started. Next leg, let's go. You're doing great. Good job, good job. You guys have it totally unfair. You have chairs. Here we go. Reaching around back. Good. Nice and strong on that hamstring. Harder on the hamstring. Good, good. Set it down, breathe. Woo! Breathe, nose. Woo! Breathe in through the nose. Woo! Good. Stick that left arm out. Let's go. Fingertips. All my students know I do this every 50 minutes, including if I'm on a plane. in the bathroom. The things they think are happening. Okay, shoulder is down, strong on the shoulder, nice and strong on the shoulder. Good, release that shoulder. Breathe. Breathe. Good. Fingertips, next side. Let's go. You're doing great. The hotel is wondering what we're doing in here right now. What happens to these Burchard events? Set that shoulder down, release that shoulder. Nice and strong on the shoulder. Breathe. Breathe. Good. Now we're going to bend slightly at the waist and on our lower back. From here, take 10 deep breaths. That's 1, 2. Keep breathing. 3. Keep breathing. 4. 5. You're doing great. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Stand, bounce, shake out those arms. Shake out those arms, shake out those arms, shake out those arms. Okay, now just stand and march just real lightly and notice the energy around your body. Now just kind of sway side to side. Just notice the energy. Oh, yes, keep breathing. That's good. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Okay, now keep breathing. As you're swaying, close your eyes, and I want you to refresh your mind. Just like we did this morning, maybe you speed it up. Maybe suddenly you're Einstein and your brain is going faster, or you see fireworks, or you're readying your body to run, leap, jump, take off, serve, command. You feel strength in your body. Your mind is revving up though. It's getting clear. It's getting excited. It's getting back into this room to be present, to transform your life for other people, that you're going to do something for yourself here to serve other people. It feels good. Your mind is revving up, baby. You're feeling it. You're feeling it. Take another notch up. Put a big old smile on your face with your eyes closed. Just breathe. Oh, yeah. Okay, open up your eyes and look around to all the beautiful, vibrant people around you. Give yourselves a round of applause. And give 5 hugs like you just won the lottery. Go. Have a seat, you beautiful people. Woo! The power plant doesn't have energy. So let me tell you a secret of my career. You know, I've had the blessing of shooting 30 plus online courses. Many of them 5-week online courses, really long. Some of you have ever logged into them. Just checking. People are like, how have you done so many? I really believe we all have the same hours in the day. The difference, I believe, is that some people are doing strategic resets throughout the day, and other people are burning themselves into the ground. Who knows the difference in this room? Who's had some burnout in the last year? Who can own that that was your responsibility? See, the power plant is either running at a capacity that is too high and it's going to blow itself up, or it does something called metering the energy. To meter the energy. Larger power plants, they meter the energy. Sometimes they turn on and turn off just to set and reset, set and reset, set and reset. My great competitive advantage in my whole career in terms of productivity, every 50 minutes, I do that. What you just did. Every 50, it took a while to explain it, but really, you're just going like this, you're going like this, you're going like this, you're going like this, you're off to the races. Close your eyes, set a new intention, and go. See, anyone ever follow like race car driving? See, that's all? Okay. So they put a track there, and little cars on that track, and they're real fast. And they go in a circle, real fast, like 200 miles an hour plus, fast, scary. And they don't go the whole time. They pull over and they do called a what? Pit stop. When they do a pit stop, the crew comes in, boom, and it goes off again. Now the car didn't need the pit stop when it got the pit stop. The pit stop is a preventative maintenance activity. Meaning, we're gonna set this thing up so it has more energy to go further. It probably didn't need the refuel at the moment, but it took the refuel so it could go longer. Some of you grind and burn, and you do it all day, every day, and it's a grind and it's a burn, and you're not replenishing. You're not doing what we call a strategic reset. For me, it's on the hour. Every hour for 20 years, I'm doing a reset. I never sit at my desk for 3 hours, and I'm a writer. I sit at my desk. Now I have a thing, my butt hits the ground. I hit a timer, 45 minutes or 50 minutes. Boom, I write no matter, if I'm coming up with genius level stuff and that thing goes beep, I stop. I stand up. I might do a few downward facing dogs, a little bit of vinyasa flow. I'll do my qigong. I'll go get water, take a big drink of water, full glass of water, come back, ask, what's most important for me to focus on this next hour? What's most important for me to focus on this next hour? What's my intention here? Now the difference is, a lot of people go all day grinding and burning out, and then they get to the end of the day, they go, oh my gosh, I didn't do the thing. Because they only checked in once. Most people check in once if they're on priority. I had 9 or 10 pit stops. How many follow? Most people, they want to work. I got no energy. Well, of course you burned all day. 6 o'clock, I'm getting warmed up because I had my pit stops. I'm fresh. And the power plant generates the energy. So I'm going to generate the energy. I also think this follows true in your relationships. You have to take responsibility of the energy in your relationships, and you've got to generate the energy. I always say, love them so much, they become lovingly annoyed by you. Because what most people do, they try to put good energy into the relationship, and then they back away. They try, they back away. They try, they feel discounted, they go away for 4 or 5 days, 4 or 5 weeks, 2, 3 years. And then they go, oh, it didn't work. Oh no, energy is daily. You want to shift your team, you want to shift your relationship, you want to shift your own energy, you've got to win the energy game. More than any other game in my life that I've won and tried to win, it's the energy game. Because when you're abundant with energy, you can do anything. But remember, the power plant doesn't have energy, I want you to create a higher level of energy in this room, right? Here, just deciding to we're gonna go to this other level. We're gonna be extraordinary. So tell the person left, right, shake them, say, be extraordinary.
This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember and you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.